Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 522. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day. I sure have. Hopefully, you're capping off an amazing weekend. I've got a good guest for us tonight, Mr. Tony Jones. You want to tell us how you're doing and, of course, where we can find you?
Oh, I'm doing fucking great, man. And you can find me on Instagram as well. Tony Jones _ Antiambolo. And yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I appreciate you taking the time to come hang out. So, look, we might as well get this going right from the beginning. Where did when and where did cannabis enter your life, my friend? Let's get the story rolling.
It was in Michigan. Yeah, it was in Michigan when I was going to school up at Michigan Tech up in Houghton. I was there for a research position. So I was actually going to school at a different place, at a different school. I was just at a research position at Michigan Tech. And I stayed with some dudes that ended up becoming my best friends, and they were all huge stoners. I had never smoked prior to that, but it took all about, a couple days for them to talk me into smoking with them, and well, it's pretty much it. Haven't really stopped since, and that was 2015. So yeah, haven't really stopped since. Ended up going to Michigan Tech, ended up living with those guys again, and yeah, kind of cannabis has just sort of taken me in a lot of different places ever since then. So yeah.
Do you remember what was some of them 2015? That's pretty safe to say that there was a strain name associated to what you were smoking on.
What do you mean? Like, what was the strain?
Was there? Yeah.
Oh, a lot of shark's breath. I remember a lot of shark's breath. A lot of white rhino, I remember. Grape God, that was one that was running around that summer. Yeah, at that time in Michigan, there was only like a handful of strains roaming around. That was the bulk of them.
Right on. So how quickly did it progress? I mean, what benefits did you find in it, I guess?
Oh man, it was just like man, where the fuck has this been all my life? you know? Yeah, I remember sitting there being like, huh, it's nice feeling good for once, because I was really struggling with a lot of things during that time. And yeah, I just remember how nice it was to be able to take like a mental deep breath,
So I guess I'm curious on, why you hadn't tried it up to that point. Was it just the normal stigma of growing up that we all got, right?
I think originally, definitely, for the longest time. Yeah, I think that was it for the longest time. And then like I had tried it a couple times, but had never gotten anything out of it. And yeah, I had tried it a couple times, never really got anything out of it. And so I guess I really hadn't given it as much thought up until that moment. So yeah, I guess it was just like the right time, right environment sort of thing, that it actually did something for me. And like I said, I haven't really stopped since.
So, as you progress there to indulge, at what point did you start growing? Are you a grower? And I see you associate with
No,
farmers market, but
no, I don't grow anymore. I did that for 2 seasons before I realized that I was not good at it. I guess I needed the second season to really figure that one out. No, I ended up I was an outdoor grower for a hot minute there up in Oregon. So I got a taste of what that life was like.
well, what I guess my next question would automatically be, what took you out to Oregon to be growing out that way? What led you from
Um,
Michigan to Oregon to growing weed out there?
yeah, that was a very quick transition actually. So I was a PhD student, Michigan Tech, and hated it. Oh, I just fucking hated it. Winters were cold. I mean, you know that. Um, it was. It wasn't that it was too hard. I think I definitely could have done it. I just didn't care as much, which made it like infinitely harder. Um, and so finally one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna quit doing this to myself. I'm leaving. This fucking sucks. I don't like you people. I don't like this. So anyway, I had decided that I was done and I just started walking home from campus. It was, I don't know, maybe like a 15, 20 minute walk. And so I start walking home and I get a call from a family friend. And I get a call from a family friend, and he says that, hey, we're buying a farm in Oregon. You want to help? And I'm just like, fuck it, sure. And like I knew, and when, and I talked to him a little bit more, and they were buying a medical farm, and they were going to turn it into a rec farm. So I didn't know jack shit about anything. I didn't know shit about growing weed. I knew how to smoke it, and that was about it. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna move to Oregon for a summer and grow weed and uh, take a little break from school and come back, finish my MBA, then be done. So that was the plan. I was gonna come back. And so I was just like, fuck it, yeah, I'll do it. So I get to Oregon. It took like 2 weeks. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going back. And yeah, I decided that, I was going to do the weed thing. I was just like, you know what? I think I got something here. I think I got something here. I'm going to give this a shot. And I did it. And it was horrible. I mean, it was definitely really fun, but like looking back, like we were so unequipped, like I see so many people still just like jumping headlong into the weed game, and it's just like, you know, salute you, good luck. It's a rough game. Um, yeah, so I stayed in Oregon, or I stayed on that farm for about 2 seasons, being a grower before I was just like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
How come it was so discouraging for you, man? It's a it's a very I don't know. I don't know. What was so discouraging? Was it just the
Well, it
organization?
wasn't. It wasn't that. It wasn't the. It wasn't the. It wasn't the plant itself. It's the. It's like you said at the beginning of the call. It was the cannabis industry versus the cannabis community. Cannabis industry, the part is the part that chews you up. The cannabis community is the part that catches you. So, honestly, looking back, it was a ton of fucking fun. I had an absolute blast, but it only got really discouraging towards the end when, like the whole cannabis industry aspect was setting in. Like I had some business relationships that fell apart. I ended up getting burned. Um, like the stories that you hear from, most people, like, handshake deals gone bad, people losing money, things like that. So it was I saw a lot of that firsthand. Um, which, in itself was, probably really good for me. I was 25 at the time. So, I mean, I learned so many valuable lessons so early on, from, growing cannabis. And I got to use a lot of that experience, in the years afterwards. So it was definitely an extremely life changing experience.
Oregon was a tough environment for cannabis and growers to come up in. They had a really good thing going at one point with the medical system, and then when it flipped wreck, man, prices dropped and things went sideways there really, really quick. So I
Yeah,
can see
around
a little bit of
2015.
what you're saying, brother. I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about. It just got greedy, and like, that's capitalism. Whatever, say what you want about capitalism, but capitalism is greed, which, is good or bad thing, whichever way you want to look at it. But the game changes people, man. I mean, you've probably seen it 100 times. Like, I don't know if it's the plant or like everything that comes around the plant, but sometimes it just fucks with people's heads, like being in the weed game. Um, yeah, I don't know what that is.
I think when it's you're trying to make it a business, and especially with multiple people, uh, money tends to sour almost every time.
Yeah, and do you think that's what happened to the Oregon medical scene? Like it was just the money that ruined it?
Uh, I think it was necessarily Rec trying to take over. Yeah, yeah, money,
Money.
flat out money. Same
Yeah.
thing with the recreational that's trying to go on here in Michigan. The way they're trying to weed out the home grows here already. It's only
Yeah.
what year two of recreational, and we're fighting to stay alive. I mean, they're in Oregon. They took things over right quick, and made it next to impossible for the home grower to even get in the market. Damn
Yeah, what is going on in Michigan? How are you guys doing right now?
we're fighting to keep our head above water right now. Right now, we're actually facing a bill to reduce our patients down to one, and I think they're trying to limit the number of medical plants to 24 per household. So yeah, we're looking at not only reduction of plants, but moreover a loss of patience. Putting, for me, that's putting four people out and making them pay for their cannabis or choose to cultivate. Obviously, they didn't want to cultivate. That's why they got a caregiver.
Hmm.
But you know, the question being, who gets cut? Which ailment do you decide isn't worthy enough for your time and efforts? That's pretty unfair in itself. Not to mention, once four people get the axe, and now no longer will be able to probably find a caregiver because, you know, the ones that are out there doing a quality job will be their numbers. They won't be able to take on anybody because they'll be getting rid of people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just, they're making all them patients, they're making money for themselves. Basically, they know four people out of every, you know, every 4 people out of every caregivers are now going to be entering the retail market. They're going to have no choice but to get their meds overpriced from a dispensary. So they're basically outright creating money for themselves. Not just, I don't think the patient's well-being is a thought. I think it's a way to just create more money for the system.
Wow. And what's the justification? Like, I mean, obviously they got to have arguments for, you know, that, right?
Oh, it's strictly quality meds. They want to make sure the patients are getting their quality meds. It's the what they're getting is untested and probably not grown right. And of course, they're worried about the black market.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the real fuck of that side of it. They're worried about the black market. Okay, I I try to keep my numbers down because I I'm worried about my numbers. I kind of told you before air how I do things. I try to make sure as soon as I get my patients the meds, they get their meds so I can stay within my numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not worried about getting shit off to what the so-called black market, okay? Because I am limited strict by numbers. You know, at any one time on hand, I'm not supposed to have any but 15 ounces usable ready on hand. That's it.
That, that's what you're
2.5.
limited to? That's what you're limited to,
Yeah,
15? Okay.
yeah. As a caregiver, that's how
Mm-hmm.
much I usable cannabis I can have ready usable for my patients at any one time. That like, wow, that's a lot leaving. That leaves a lot for the, you know, black market, you call it. You know, after my patients get some and then I've got 15 ounces, that's nothing. But now here, this lies the problem where you're worried about the black market. I don't grow my recreational plants in the same area, but most people grow outdoors. They grow their 12 plants outdoors. Okay. So whatever you're able to produce recreational with your 12 plants, you're allowed. If you can grow 12 Mendo dope plants out back there and produce 50 pounds, you're allowed to keep that 50 pounds in your recreational fucking closet. No worries. Party your ass off. But you call that medicine? Whoa, boy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, where lies the problem? The recreational grower, they can produce whatever they can produce and they're able to keep it, or the medical grower that's terrified of losing their rights in very strict limited numbers.
Yeah.
You know, it's very unjust. You know, it's very unjust.
Damn. And so how many
So, oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna ask how many licenses are they rolling out in Michigan? Are they doing it like Illinois, or are they doing it more like Oregon where you can easily get a license?
Uh, there's quite a few licenses out there. The exact number I can't tell you for sure.
Okay.
But if
Yeah,
you got
'cause
the
I know.
money, you you can you can definitely play.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in Florida they got like 6 licenses or something stupid like that. And then in Oregon, I think they're actually starting to open up licensing again. Um, So allowing even more people to grow in Oregon. But I know in
Hopefully,
California, where I live now, um, you can get licenses simply, they're just simply expensive. So that's California's barrier to entry, but par for the course.
so have you ever thought about getting back into the cultivation side of things? That's where the medicine real lies.
No, no, not not in any way more than just hobby or for myself. Um, no, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to grow plants. I maybe it's a patience thing. I'm an engineer by trade, so like other end of that spectrum. Um, I'm always about, how can I make this thing do that thing faster, or how can I make it do it better? Plants don't like that. So I have found that I actually fit best on like the technical side of growing plants. So like environment controls, systems controls, those things I understand really, really well. So if I were to get back into cultivation, it'd be maybe not plant touching, but definitely working, in the same building.
Why not wrap that mind into the organics realm? I mean, if you're really worried about, how can I manipulate the plant and make it work better, faster, stronger, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you have to open the hood and look into the engine there. And that's, what's going on in the soil, in the pot. And there's a lot of things to tickle the brain there. That's for sure.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've
where
been
you
down
can
that.
just leave things alone up top, kind of.
Yeah, I've been down that wormhole many times. I have thought about, trying my hand at soil blends. I think that would be pretty cool. I could spend hours reading blogs about soil amendments and tea recipes and things like that. So, um, yeah, if someone put a gun to my head and they were like, you have to, create a new line of organic cannabis fertilizer products, I'd be like, all right, well, that doesn't sound that bad. Or, you have to create a bunch of soil blends. That would be pretty fun. I would definitely enjoy that.
That's the other bummer that really bothers me about them trying to take away limit the caregiver stuff and just take away the grow altogether. Because I'm a huge believer that's where the medicine lies. There's tons of medical uses to this, but or recreational, however you want to look at it. But the actual medical side of things is actually here in the garden, taking care of that plant. The Zen moments that you have with the plant relieves a lot of anxiety and stress. Actually, they knew that horticulture in the 70s would relieve PTSD and could help aid patients through drug rehabilitation. So, why take that aspect away from the medical system, the true medicine? You know,
Yeah.
I've often spoken that, being able to sustain yourself, especially somebody that has some type of physical limitations and, has to at some point has had to say to themselves, I can't until they can overcome. And that process of overcoming something is very fulfilling to the soul. So I think that's a very key part of cannabis and the medical side of things is being able to cultivate the plant themselves. And then, that can do that once it hits this portion of and they already know this portion of the medicine is there. but it's all the more powerful once you've had the prerequisite of taking it all through the process yourself and going, I did this, and I'm now curing myself. My ailments were from the fruits of my labors. So, that's a very strong part of cannabis, in my opinion.
I would agree. Yeah, I think having had to go through like 2 entire seasons worth of work, it kind of makes you appreciate smoking a joint a whole lot more. Knowing how much work goes into it.
So, what led you from Oregon to California?
I got bored. I uh, I uh, I knew that I could do more for the cannabis industry in a bigger pond. Um, Oregon, I don't know. I was in Oregon for about 3 years, and I feel like I had met pretty much everyone. And I knew that there was some things that I wanted to do, and I knew Oregon wasn't the place for it. And so, how old was I when I left Oregon? I think I was 26. Yeah, 26, 27. And I was just like, you know what? I'm still pretty young. I'm just going to move. I'm going to move somewhere in California. And so I just pretty much pointed at a map and I was like, I'm going to move to Sacramento, California. Because I knew I wanted to live closer to Northern California because that was the kind of people I was looking for, the kind of people and the kind of culture I was looking for. And tried it out for a little bit. And, well, I'm still here. And yeah, I moved down to California because I was looking for more of that legacy culture, that appellation of origin culture, that regionally branded product culture. That was the kind of conversations I was looking to have, and those conversations really aren't happening in Oregon, at least not yet. And so, yeah, that's what I came down here looking for.
Nice, nice. So, what kind of people have you met there? What kind of farms? What kind of cannabis are you seeing these days?
Um, there is a much, much bigger spectrum of people in California cannabis than there are in Oregon cannabis. Um, yeah, that's definitely what I'm seeing. A lot more different people and a lot more different businesses. Um, a lot of pimping the plant going on. So say what you want about that. But honestly, there's a lot of really, really cool shit going on in a lot of different levels of the cannabis industry out in California. And so it's really interesting to see a lot of the uh, activism groups. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of this movie called Ladybugs. You ever heard of that?
No, I don't believe I have. Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, Ladybugs is a movie that talks about um, the role that women have played in the cannabis industry and that they continue to play in the cannabis industry. It's pretty cool. I know a couple people that have been in it. Um, there's a lot of handing down of old ways going on right now. because a lot of legacy people are being pushed out of the market. And so there's a really big push for maintaining that heritage in the communities. Yeah, I'd say those are probably the coolest things that I've found so far.
Regulation is definitely making it harder and harder for California growers to keep their head above water there. I've read something lately that said the Mendocino growers were actually their next hurdle is just fucking water. Water regulations may end up taking them out, which is kind of bullshit. I mean, they're even penalizing you for trying to catch rainwater and trying to sustain and that way.
Yeah, it's California loves to strangle itself with taxes and regulation. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, there's so much money to be made in taxes. I mean, don't get me wrong, like everything in California is already taxed to shit, but like in my mind, and like I consider myself at least, decently logical, if you just get rid of all these, fucking regulations, make it as open market, make it as much of an open market as possible, and then just, apply a, broad tax, like it seems like you'd make so much more money than just hamstringing all these people and making it impossible for them to build and grow businesses. So I don't know, but then again, I'm not a politician, so what do I know?
So, what is it exactly you do in cannabis these days? It says farmers market here on the Instagram. Is that how you handle things these days in cannabis?
Right now, yeah, that's a project that I'm working on. So I currently work full time for a company that I've been working for a couple of years, a HR outsourcing company, and so that's my day job. And in that job, I work with a lot of vertically integrated companies, so companies that have at least like 10, 15 employees at least. And so I work with a lot of like, decently large cannabis companies, which is really cool. Because there are a lot of cool ones out there. There's a lot of shitty ones, but there are a lot of cool ones too. But the farmers market, that's part of a nonprofit I'm putting together called Antiambolo. And yeah, so December 4th in Sebastopol, California, we are going to be getting a decent handful of craft cannabis farmers together. We're going to be bringing in the public. We got a couple food trucks, some vendors, things like that. And we're going to have a good fucking time. On-site sales, direct interaction, farmers to consumers. And yeah, I'm hoping to raise a lot of money for these farmers because a lot of farmers in cannabis right now, they're really struggling. And so I'm hoping to do something about that.
I respect that. I do. It is getting harder and harder for farms to sustain themselves and get their product out there. So yeah, I'm hoping that the craft market, that's the farmers market, is the only way the craft market will subside. Uh, I actually tried to open one here, help open one here in 2008 in
Hmm.
Michigan. We opened up what was known then as the Cannabis Research, sorry about the Cannabis Research Institute. And we did a farmer's market there until basically the city chased us out. Uh, it was what it was, but good year and a half there in Clio, uh, organizing the caregivers together and making cannabis available for patients early on there before there was actually uh, a place to get cannabis. You know, there wasn't actually dispos even available then. But few brave ones that were out there definitely opened the doors for a lot of other places. That's for sure. I like to
No,
think what we
yeah,
did there.
that's
Definitely opened things up for the dispensaries that plagued necessarily didn't plague, but there sure was there still was and still is their fair share of dispensaries along Door Highway there now. Probably from what we have to do then.
yeah. I'm just trying to think of the last time I was in Michigan. Are there a lot? Have there been more and more dispensaries the last couple of years?
Here we've had they blew up, you know, at one point, you know, between what 2008 and I want to say 2017, pretty much you just had to go had a storefront and the willingness to pull a business license, and you were selling cannabis at that point.
Wow,
Regulations
that's all it
quickly
took.
came in. If that, yeah, yeah,
Wow. Um,
they were,
I've,
yeah.
yeah, I've only been
Flint at one
to.
point, I think Flint had like 200 dispensaries at one point. Flint area.
Wow, and no water. Go figure.
Oh, that was before the water crisis.
Oh, really? Okay. Um, maybe that's why they didn't fix it. They had 200 dispensaries. Everyone was just so stoned that it just didn't fix the water. No, I'm just kidding. Um, 200 dispensaries, man, that's crazy. I've only been to the one dispensary in Houghton, Michigan. Um, that was the only dispensary I've ever been to in Michigan. It was a pretty good one from what I remember.
Uh Sister Golden Hair in chat would like to know how can they get a hold of you? How can she reach it?
Hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, just hit me up on Instagram if you want to drop my username in the chat there.
Tony Jones. So where do you see the market? How do you see things working out for you as far as farmers market there in California? What are the restrictions for you to get started there nowadays?
As a non-license holder, not much. There's not really many restrictions on people who don't hold licenses. If you got a cannabis license in California, though, I mean, you can't fart in the wind without having to report it to someone. So that's kind of the nice thing about not having a license. But yeah, the event scene, I think, is an interesting one because you're always walking that line between consumption event, non-consumption event, and what venue is cool with that, what venue is strict on that, the whole homie scene for venue hookups, things like that. So um it's interesting. Yeah, I'll tell you that much. It sure is interesting.
So is this gonna be like a weekend type thing, or is it just gonna be a one-time event?
My plan is so my plan is to reinstall weekly markets in key appellations. around California. And so I guess what I'll have to do is tie into the tourism industry as well. So there'll probably have to be some synergy there, because that's the only way for the craft scene to really make it. Like these craft farmers, there's no way they can survive fighting for shelf space, while being hamstringed by a distributor, because in California they're on the distributor model. I'm sure you're familiar with it. So like if you're a producer, if you're a farmer, if you're a grower, the only way for you to get your flower on a dispensary shelf is to sell it to a distributor, who then packages your product and brings it to the dispensary. They put it in their own damn packaging. So your flower is just sort of an ingredient in their brand, which I think is just the dumbest shit, honestly. Like if someone in California law could explain like why that is, like, because that is just the dumbest shit. Anyway, so like these small time craft growers, they're just like, there's hardly any hope for them, because I mean, there's only so many dispensaries. There's only so many, there seems to be endless distributors. There's thousands of farms that you're competing with, and it's California, so they all grow decent weed. And so like, just growing like the best weed, quote unquote, isn't really cutting it for most of these people anymore, because, well, even the corporate guys, they can grow pretty damn good weed. As far as like the market's concerned. And so the craft growers, I think, well, direct to consumer obviously is going to be the way to go. So direct to consumer, I think, is the way to go. And reestablishing yourself as part of your community, I think, is what's going to be really key, because these craft growers, they're not selling a store shelf product. They're farmers. They belong at farmers markets. They belong in their communities. That you don't. I don't know. I see what's on the shelves in dispensaries, and this, the flower that I buy from, my farmer plug. Like, those are different things. The way I see it. So that's what I think.
Well, I can see a lot of that. It's where a lot of it is quality cannabis, plain and simple. We're proud of what we grow, and we like to see people enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is very important, but it got lost here in Michigan through the system that you're talking about right there. The whole distribution system, the whole middleman type bullshit of it. Just turn my hard work over to somebody else, and then more than likely have them just smack their sticker right over top of my name. I have no interest in, nor do I have any interest in turning over my beautiful produced flower to that same person and then letting them carry my brand. Quality control. Who knows how long that company is before they actually get it into packaging? How long is it going to sit in the storefront before it actually gets to the consumer? And how long is the packaging actually going to keep the flower good? By the time it hits the consumer and it's got my name all over it and it turns to powder and it's lost half of its terps, do I want to risk that? No, no. The only way to keep a good name in your brand is through the craft market. The only way you'll be able to do that here in Michigan is to, in my opinion, is to keep your head above water, is supply for that like a micro grow, the 99 plants where you can do everything in house and basically have your own dispensary out front. You can, everything has to be in house. But then again, they've kind of opened the door up for us. So on the bigger events, you can go pull a permit. Like say High Times comes up and you want to be a part of their whatever and you want to sell your product. Now you can at least pull a permit and be a part of that bigger event. And so keep your name, your brand alive and still your quality control. That's again, numbers are a big thing why I do my garden the way I do, but quality control has a lot to do with it too. I like my cannabis fairly fresh, if you will. I don't like it all crumbly and dry. I like it when I'm cutting through it and it sticks to my scissors a little bit. It's
Oh
not a
yeah,
shame to have
like
clean
when
my,
you
that's,
can't use your lighter afterwards. That's the best.
that's, that's, that you're only going to be able to get that type of quality from the micro guy that is there, only limiting his product to what is should be out there, basically, not overproducing because he doesn't want it sitting on shelves and getting past the goodness date, in my opinion. Uh, but yeah, or a farmer's market type atmosphere where they can come once a week and make their product available for the consumer to come and enjoy. And that's moreover, I think what the consumer wants. I
Mm-hmm.
think these numbers nowadays, they walk in and they're flashed with this THC content right there with a bunch of numbers. Most of these people don't even understand terpene contents. What they don't even understand what most terpenes do. So that's just like it's all shock and awe. Look, numbers, big numbers. This is high, yeah. Blend them all together for a super THC content number. Ooh, look at that one. It looks good. People, that's all they know, but that's gonna fade fast. That just like buying seeds or anything else. I'd rather talk to my breeder. What are you passionate about? How'd you grow this? You know what I mean? Go right through the whole ordeal. Smell the jar. I think we lost a lot in cannabis when they put it in jars and made it non-accessible. I mean, them
Yeah.
numbers mean a lot scientifically, but for the average person, what happens when they open that jar and smell it, that what unlocks in their brain, you can smell 30 of them, 30 of them, 20 of them, 9 of them may not appeal to you. One of them might jump right off the charts for you. And that's your body going, yeah, there's your medicine, chief. And that's the way cannabis should be selected, not by shock and awe numbers, in my opinion, anyway.
It's
So craft market, farmers market, it's the only way to keep quality cannabis alive, in my opinion.
yeah, and you need to maximize the user experience. You have to maximize the user's experience with the plant because, like, when you said like quality control, that's a lot of people's first introduction to cannabis is the stuff that they get from the dispensary. Um, so you have to be able to maximize the user's experience with the plant in in settings that they understand what actually goes into it. So I think the ideal model is like a farmer's market mixed with like a TED Talk sort of thing. I think that would be the best model.
Possibly, possibly. You got to keep people involved, what their
Mhm.
likes and dislikes are. You can't just shove. one in particular strain, and that's what's the big guys are. What's hit, what's hype, what's everybody gonna buy? They don't give two shits about, "Oh, is this good medicine? How's this gonna cure the masses? And cannabis doesn't work like that in any way. That's why they haven't been able to make it a store-bought medicine anyway. The beauty of it is you go through them until you find that one that works for you, and then you can keep that. If you have any idea and want to read a few books, you can keep that strain alive forever through flow.
Mm.
And they can't make money off that. That's one of the bigger threats from cannabis. How many farmers have you enlisted in I think you said 12 so far for this farmers market. Hopefully in growing.
So for this one, we got about a dozen. And so I went with the appellations of Mendocino, Sonoma, and Nevada County. And the next one I think is going to be Humboldt, Trinity, and some more farms from Sonoma. But yeah, right now it's about 12.
So how would if there's farmers out there looking to get a hold of you, again, just through the Instagram?
Yeah, just send me a DM on Instagram. Absolutely.
Thanks. Again, I think that's real important to keep these farmers markets alive. Cannabis, it's one of the things, it's so over tested here. People don't realize necessarily how tested cannabis is
Most
compared to like the
regulated.
foods and shit.
Yeah, it's the most
Oh,
regulated.
it's over. Yeah, yeah, it's actually more tested than any of the foods you buy, anything more scrupulated than anything the foods you get. It's unfair. But again, the same cannabis recreational, they can sneak it right through with half the testing. I think that's really unfair too. Again,
Really?
recreational, yeah. That's where a lot of the medical growers that actually originally got licensing here actually are switching to the rec side because it's so much easier, so much looser regulations on that.
Huh. Yeah, I guess you're right. Um, yeah, because in the medicals, yeah, it's the same thing in California. Well, I don't think a lot of medical growers are going into recreational here in California. Um, yeah, it's probably a lot easier to move product around medically than it is recreationally.
It's much tougher to move cannabis medically than rec. Much linear on that side. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I hope things work out for you. I hope that things actually grow. More and more people get involved there. More and more cities. Are you looking into doing it in more cities?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, the next one I think I want to do right in the Bay. I think it'd be cool to bring a lot of farmers from up north down to the Bay. Have a real big blowout event, and yeah, I kind of like the idea of having a bunch of big blowout events like that, and then sort of bringing that back to the individual communities. I think that'd be pretty cool. So like big events, small events, sort of thing.
Again, man, I hope that at some point you get back into the cultivation side of things.
Yeah, maybe a couple plants here and there. I definitely like being in gardens. That's something I never ever get tired of is visiting other gardens. Um, yeah, that's something I never stop doing. I hope I never stop doing.
Yeah, again, that's the therapeutical side of things. There's so much medical value in just growing a few plants.
Mm.
Well, I think we pretty much covered it all. I think anything you'd like to throw out there before we end this?
This was cool, man. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to have expected when we got connected on Instagram, but yeah, this was cool. Thank you. Man, I want to get back to Michigan now. You really started making me a little homesick. I really want to get back to Michigan and hang out in Michigan for a little bit, smoke some Michigan weed again.
We definitely have a very open community here, man. Lots of events, man. People love to show up their cannabis events here, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
how are you guys having events around there?
we had a ton this year. We had actually had a bunch last year in the middle of COVID. We were still kicking through that. A little bit smaller events, but definitely had a good time. Uh, heck, I want to say all in all, they were going as far as last year down in Paw Paw, Michigan. There, Rainbow Farms, man, they were kicking out a bunch of great cannabis events down that way. They had one as I think the last one was November 5th and 6th. They were still kicking out cannabis events there. So yeah, I think all in all, I think there would probably right about 50 mid-sized events this year here in Michigan, here and there.
5-0.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Little towns having their own thing, and there's some pretty decent sized events.
Damn. It's a hell
Definitely
of a lot
good
better than
times
what's
here
going
in
on
Michigan.
in California. Man, California's been dead. Well, maybe. I don't know. California's interesting. It's a lot of homie circles. And so um there is always stuff going on, but everything is like siloed. So it's all in who you know. Probably the same thing in Michigan, but um yeah, Michigan cultures, cannabis culture is something unique. I'm gonna get back to Michigan soon. It's decided.
You should. You should. There's definitely an awesome community here. And there's still a few places out there where, and I hope that they're fighting like hell. Compassion centers, basically, where the caregivers can still table, you know, to straight to patients like they used to be able to, where they can still the kind of farmers market atmosphere. But they put on a lot of good events. You know, Vehicle City there in Flint do their socials all the time. It's a good place, and that's very important, man. That's a cool place because you can actually go get you some meds, get a something to eat, meet a friend, enjoy some cannabis while you're there, and part ways. And so we need more places like that. So I hope them people have some luck in fighting their legislation they're facing right now. They're to those places are trying to be weeded out right now too.
What consumption events like that?
Yeah, yeah. Just places where like again, caregivers can set up vending stations, and people can buy food. Basically, it's a restaurant that they also have vending stations. It's a good sized venue. You play pool, have a dance floor and all that. And then once a month, it used to be like once a month they'd have sessions there, where it was like a concert type thing. They'd have bands, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Real cool place, man. So yeah, social consumption centers definitely need to keep their heads above water.
Yeah, a
But
lot of
they involve the community. That's what's key. You know what I mean? It isn't
that.
like Cookies is putting it out. You know what
Man, fuck cookies. Um, yeah, well, it's like I said, you need to maximize the user experience, you know, so you need to maximize opportunities for the consumer to enjoy cannabis in a community setting with people that they like, and, you know, make it fun, make it enjoyable, make it something that adds to their life. Cookies don't do that. It just takes from your wallet.
they'll give you a t-shirt though.
Yeah, they'll give you a fucking t-shirt, man. You're real lucky you can get a picture with Burner.
Hopefully that never comes to it, man. That's yeah, it's depressing when cannabis comes to that. It really is.
Well, actually, you know what? I should backpedal a little bit. A lot of people really shit on Cookies, but honestly, I watched Cookies do something really cool. This past season, they actually partnered with, I don't know how many brands out of Humboldt, but they partnered with a handful of legacy Humboldt growers and brands, and they did a lot of really cool things for them. They carried their brand, like the farm's brand name, like all the way through to the end product. So it's not the Cookies brand on there. It's like the Cookies and like Ridgeline Farms, something like that. So that's actually really cool. Burner, say what you want about Burner. I think Burner is a genius, and he's definitely built something pretty cool. But man, I wish those apes weren't so goddamn expensive, Burner. You should do something about that.
I got a little bit of respect for Burner, man. He's actually, you know, been
you
there,
got
done that.
you can't take it away from him, man. Look at what he's done. You can't take that away from him.
He's lived it, you know, that's for sure. That's he's just you can't hate him because he made it through it all. It's now, you know, making
From
money off it legally.
Yeah, from the trenches, man. Yeah, no, like from the trenches. And yeah, look at him now. He was diagnosed with cancer. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah, Burner. I don't know what kind of cancer, but yeah, they found out that he has cancer. So I stopped making fun of Burner when I found out he had cancer. Honestly, I felt really bad. That I don't think anyone was expecting that. Honestly, it really threw me for a loop. It was just like, you know, scrolling through Instagram one day and you're just like, oh shit, wait a minute, Burner's got cancer? Holy fuck. So yeah, anyway, got a lot of respect for Burner, a lot of respect for Cookies. So I hope Burner really pulls through, which I'm sure he will.
Again, you know, I can't hate on somebody that's, you know, lived the made the dream come true. And I think that's where a lot of us, myself included, you know, I've grown cannabis now for I feel old even saying 20 plus years. You know,
Damn.
back before it was cool, before it was legal, back when
Mm-hmm.
we were taking huge risks. Uh, so nowadays, it's nice to see it going, keep going, but man, you just got to keep it available for the right reasons.
You got to keep it available to the masses, because as soon as the only way to get cannabis is to buy a $60 eighth, that's when things have been fucked up beyond repair.
We've all had that dream. I guess where I was going with that We all had that dream to become the large scale grower that, Burner ended up being pretty
Yeah.
much. So you can't hate on him for, yeah, again, doing the same thing that we've all done, and he's managed to be able to do it and throw, make a huge living out of it, commercialize it a little bit. I can't hate on him for that. Where it all went wrong for a lot of us is, here we thought possibly this could be, the time to step up into larger scale grows that, like Burner, like we've all dreamed of, but the process came tough with a lot of fucking dollars behind it. Legislation came hard. And then those that made it through the first few hoops uh, got ripped off, got pushed out of the system. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of growers like myself that teamed up with money, and money pushed out the grower after things got off and going.
Yep.
Once they kind of learned the system, oh, this is how you do things. Okay, well, we no longer need you and your portion of the business. Good luck
Yep.
to you. Or they got automated, they didn't need the skills anymore. And that's sad. So a lot of us, I guess, once we realized it was going to be super tough for us to, hit that scale, kind of got a, I don't know, kind of got discouraging. A lot of people got out of the game at that point.
Yeah,
It's not the dream to go work for a large scale grower. You know what I mean?
no,
I guess.
no. I think I'll always work with the plant though. That's for sure. I don't know. Cannabis just has this way of just getting its fingers in you, and don't take it out. So I don't know. It's here to stay for me. I know that.
I got a lot of respect for Burner, but if I find myself defoliating for Burner in one of his grows, I don't know how happy I'm going to be about my
He
so.
he tricked you. Yeah, he gave you a free shirt, and the next thing you know, you're big leafing. You're like, wait a minute.
Damn it all. Damn cookies. All right,
Sure.
with that being said, man, I don't know how much you've been able to check out of the show, but there are a few aspects of what goes on here in the channel. There is, of course, the spotlight portion of the show where we get to know the people in the cannabis industry, the people behind the Instagrams, the photos and whatnot. That is this here portion of what we do on the channel. The next portion of what goes on here is, of course, the Weed Nerd World. That is basically a panel type show where the show is the past guest, pretty much. Now that you've been on the show, the Zoom link you have been sent is your key to the Weed Nerd World. Anytime that Monday nights, tomorrow night is Weed Nerd World, 2 a.m. Eastern Saturn Time. I guess that is 11 Pacific. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is open up to all past guests. We are on episode 522, so there's almost that many combinations of guests that could appear in Weed Nerd World at any given night.
Oh wow.
Uh, and we get quite the crowd. It's a ever-changing panel, which kind of makes it fun. Different opinions, different views. No invitations at that point. You already have your invitation. This is your invitation. It's more of a I want to join in basis. So any night you see, like I said, Monday nights is always Weed Nerd World. Any other time you see Weed Nerd World in the title, you're more than welcome to join in, join the conversation, partake. Uh, it can be cannabis. Sometimes it takes its up and downs. Conspiracy theory. Sometimes we talk about psychedelics, their journey as well, soil, plant technique. It's pretty much an open forum for anything everybody wants to talk about. 365 days a year, it's kind of hard to keep everybody involved on the same, you know, how many times can you really talk about cloning 365 days a year? So,
Yeah.
but we try to keep it cannabis. But you are invited to join in on that at any time you'd like to, since you've donated your time to the show. I greatly appreciate that. The other thing I'd like to get from you before we part ways is what I call a soundbite. And that basically is the old school kind of radio station identification type thing, where your favorite band would come on and identify the station. Basically, this is what I'm looking for in my words. My version is, hey, this is Eagle, and I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 522. You can put whatever you want before that, after that, as long as it's got that kind of in the body of it. This will be a commercial for your episode at some point. This is the only portion of the show that I actually record, and I am ready for you anytime you're ready.
Hey, what up? This is Tony, and you're listening to fucking Talking Shit with Eagle. It's been fun.
Right on. Thank you again for your time, man. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you. Hopefully, we'll get to know you a little bit further in the weed nerd world at some point. Yeah, we're always looking for good people and good opinions. So hopefully, we see you again soon, sir.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I will I'll probably see you in Michigan at some point.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, that done. That wraps up this here episode 522 with Tony Jones. I suggest you guys fill your tray, empty your bladder, and get ready for Weed Nerd World. I will see you guys in a few. If not, thank you for your time, for tuning in. You guys know the deal. Random acts of kindness do save lives. Don't be afraid to do something nice for somebody. Thank you.